Recording. Perfect. Okay. Beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Welcome to week number 2 of the nutrition challenge. This is awesome. We want the slideshow. Perfect. Okay. Yay. Beautiful. So, oh, it's moving you guys around my screen. Hold on. I want to be able to see everybody. So give me a minute. Perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about, go through the slides, and then at the end of the slides, I think, Darcy, I wanted to talk about something you brought up with me today, which will be perfect. And then any other questions or topics that people want to talk surrounding food, let's do it. I'm going to try and move everyone through this at a little bit of a faster pace than last time we went to 40 minutes. I promised everyone 30. So we're going to try and keep it compact today. Okay. So, from the faces that I see currently, you guys have all been doing a really great job of, most of you, although besides Melissa, you eat more around 4 meals, I would say, right? Yeah. You've been doing a great job of keeping it at 3 meals. Moving into this week, you have the option to do 4 meals. So figuring out what is the best option for your lifestyle, as well as your energy input and output. And if you're feeling like you're kind of losing energy midway or that afternoon slump throughout the day, 4 meals instead of 3 might be an interesting and good thing for you to try. So, okay. If you do 4 meals, and we're going to talk more about this as we go through, if you decide to do 4 meals, it's protein. Veggie works as the main carb in your dish because you're going to be eating more of them, which means veggies fit into that category of carbs. So you'll be eating more carbs than if you were having veggies in 3 meals. Does that make sense? So 4 meals, protein, veggie for a carb, and then also fat. And when I say veggie, I don't mean lettuce. I don't mean salad. I don't mean just broccoli. I mean like eat some freaking zucchini, some squash, some eggplant, some higher carbed vegetables that are really, really filling and also have volume on your plate. And then if you decide to stick with 3 meals, we're still going to keep a carb in your diet unless I tell you separately, we're going to pull one out. But everyone's had really good results so far just moving to whole foods and 3 meals and taking a lot of the snacks out. So we're going to keep high protein servings. A carb could look like rice, quinoa, half a sweet potato, that sort of thing, in addition to a salad or a beans or broccoli, and then of course a fat. And then this little box here on the right is just kind of what I put in to help us figure out, okay, what's going to help you the most, lead you to success based on what's important to you and your lifestyle. And moving to
And is that a carb with every meal?
yeah.
Okay.
Still all 3 meals, unless you are someone like Melissa. Do you mind if I use you as an example?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Sure, no problem.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Unless you're someone who is doing like a juice or doing a banana mid-afternoon or something else in that style where you're having a carb outside of your 3 meals, it's still a carb. Okay, so these are just examples of what that would look like if you did decide to go 3 meals. This is now just spelled out, or your column of 4 meals, which would be over here. This is just a lot of writing, honestly, on the wall. Some people love to see it spelled out. If so, I'm going to post it on a Facebook page. But I'm actually going to move on to the next slide because I'm going to talk about, I'm sure you're looking here at the 3 meals. It says cupped hands of high GI carbs. And I'm sure people are like, well, what is a high GI carb, right? So let's talk about the difference between carbs. This is one of my most favorite things to talk about. Difference in carbs. So you are going to have basically, when I say workout carbs, let's actually back up. Carbs are sugars. Sugars break down in your body and they are quote unquote a carb, but those sugars can also, they're fast energy like we talked about, and they're really great for pre-workout. So you have something in your system so you don't feel lightheaded, you don't feel low on energy, they help fuel your bodies. So workout carbs, banana, orange, apple, dates are high in sugar, coconut water is pretty high in sugar. So that can always be paired with that protein smoothie like we talked about. Now, all of those quote unquote workout carbs are actually fruits that are pretty high in carbs. And I just want you to keep that in mind in case you're putting them in a smoothie. I wouldn't have one of these, or I wouldn't have like a full banana in addition to a full meal with a serving of rice or a potato or all of those things. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Breaking this down even further, a high GI carb is anything that's going to be higher in sugar, which means has more grams of carbs in it. It's going to stay with you longer. It's going to keep you fuller longer. Bread, rice, potato, sweet potato, bananas are really high carb fruit. So I just always say be careful with bananas. Anything processed, banana, crackers, cookies, anything processed generally. You know what I just realized that's not on this list are oats, and oats are like a fantastic carb. They're also what's called a slow digesting carb. So they keep you fuller. Oops, sorry guys. They keep you fuller for longer. So oats for breakfast or throwing oats into your smoothie. Really awesome idea, but oats would be instead of a banana, right? Because now we're thinking about, okay, now we have 2 carbs. Which one do we want? I love to touch on berries. Berries, I always say, in addition to anything, berries are the lowest sugar, so lowest carb fruit you can possibly eat. So if you're someone who loves oatmeal, I'm always like, put in a whole, like half a cup of blueberries, just throw them in there, give it some volume, add raspberries, blackberries, strawberries are like all water. Eat as many berries as you want. Love berries. They also have a ton of nutrients in them, so they're a fantastic option. And then you don't have to count them as like a serving of a carb. You don't have to take away that carb in your meal. Perfect. Okay, so just a few little points. I'm keeping it short today, guys. I wanted to go over here is, sorry, I'm letting people in as we go through this. So is anyone feeling like, now I'm going to do question time real quick. They're getting bored of foods they're eating, chicken, like they're having so much chicken, things like that. I can't see everybody, so chime in if I don't see you. Spices are super important. I posted on Facebook a raspberry vinaigrette that's really tasty. That would be fantastic to make. And then little things like adding cinnamon in is really awesome. Cumin is a really, really great spice for your body. And then salt. A lot of people have questions with salt. And I actually had one of the challengers, and this is a snack that I'll talk about if you're on the road. Something to grab on the road is like turkey jerky, beef jerky, any type of jerky, but it has a lot of salt in it. I'm really not concerned about sodium intake if you guys are eating the whole foods that you're eating. I'm really not concerned about it. If it's one day and you're on the road and you're on the go and you're like, the highest protein option and the healthiest option at the gas station is some beef jerky, fantastic. That's actually a great snack. It's high in protein. So don't worry too much about salt unless everything you're eating is processed. That's when you have to worry about it. Dressings, I think I have some in the book and we've kind of touched on them, everything in moderation. Generally with dressings, I would stay with around 1 tablespoon. And then hydration. So water is going to be, besides from picking your 3 or 4 meals this week, water is going to be our big goal. So for everyone that doesn't yet, you're in 1 or 2 categories. For everyone that doesn't yet drink at least half their body weight in ounces of water, we have to think about that for a second, a day. That is your goal every day this week. If you already drink half your body weight in ounces of water, I want your goal to be 25 to 30 ounces more. That's a lot of friggin' water. But it's really good for you. And it helps flush all the toxins out of your body. It's no joke. If you have to pee like every hour, honestly, you're doing it right. And that is also me. Yeah. Okay. Any questions about this slide before I move on?
So salting food, you're saying is okay in moderation.
Yes.
Okay. That's I'm a huge salt junkie. So I use the pink tan salt, but I'm definitely like a salt everything.
Yeah. Use it. Oh, that's actually,
Okay.
this is funny that you just reminded me of this, but touch on poop for a second. If you guys are feeling constipated or having trouble pooping, mixing Himalayan salt in a big glass of water, like 20 ounces of water in the like warm water, mix it in, like at least a teaspoon to almost a table, sounds like a lot of salt. Helps flush out your digestive system and before you like have coffee. So just a tip. If you're feeling like you need to flush your system out, try that, see if it works. Salt isn't the enemy. Salt is only the enemy, like high cholesterol, if you have other things going on in your life. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
guys, I'm sorry about the noise. I'm in a wicked noisy gym, so I'll go right back on mute. But I would be wicked interested from anybody who knows how to make chicken taste better, like chicken breasts, because I'm so sick of it. I can't stand it. And any of these spices, thank you for these. But does anybody have like a spice version I can buy at Hannaford? Do you know what I mean? How they have like spice blends of things. Anyway, I get overwhelmed when I look at that, but I know that the answer is there somewhere for how to get more chicken in me.
Okay. Love it. Anybody want to add? Oh, Caitlin texted Crazy Jane's is my favorite spice blend. Crazy Jane's, Jane. Sorry, Holly, were you talking? You're on mute.
All right, and it looks like this.
Oh, thank you.
I'm hiding in my pantry for my it's this. And it's so good. I put it on everything.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then also garlic salt mix. I agree with that. I have that one, Darcy.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Love it. This
We
is
use that on almost everything.
Yay. Okay, great. Also, Holly, I know I've sent you a text. The answer doesn't always have to be chicken. Unless you're adverse to like red meats and stuff. There, also I'm trying to give you guys more recipes that aren't necessarily chicken or meats. So I did post like a tuna recipe, a shrimp recipe, last week on the Facebook page to go check out if you're interested in that. And I can gather more too.
I also have a really good homemade taco seasoning blend that you can make at home instead of buying the packets. That is a big go-to. I'll post it on the site.
Did you post it on the Facebook? That would be awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Yay, thank you. Awesome. Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, so anyone else have, this is all for my slides for this week. Anything else to add in terms of cooking chicken, baking chicken, questions? I'm going to throw in another question that I got today over text. And I'm going to refrain from answering the question because I would love everybody else's input. So the topic that I felt would be really interesting to discuss with everybody is, okay, let me phrase this correctly, is when you're deciding on food choices, Is that giving you any anxiety for you to make sure you're choosing the right food choices to help you? And if so, what are some ways that we can kind of combat that anxiety around or anxiousness around food choices? And correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think this was one of the things that I struggle with, because my goal here is something that I can sustain, because I've done this before, right? I've gone on these cycles of eating really well, exercising really well, dropping weight, feeling healthy, and then slipping back into old routines and taking forever to get back to where I want. So my anxiety around it is, okay, I'm feeling really good about how I'm eating. I'm really skipping snacks. I'm not falling into those habits. But in the back of my mind is okay, when am I going to go grab those crackers again? And what happens when I do? Am I falling really back into those bad habits quickly? Like, that's what I'm most nervous about, is not the immediate, but like 4 weeks, 6 weeks from now, having enough variety and eating the right way that I will do it longer, if that makes sense.
Does anyone have similar concerns or anything to add?
Tons. Like, that's it. I mean, Emily, we were together, what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? And it was balls to the wall, Dirigo Fitness, working out every day, every other day. Although I didn't really catch up on the nutrition stuff because I like to eat what I like to eat.
Mhm.
But I've known forever that nutrition is the key. But the wheat thins are right there, and the cheese is already in the fridge, sliced up, ready to go. And I'm hungry, So I completely get it. It has been. The only tip I have for you, and I don't even follow it myself, is that for a while between our times together, Emily,
Mhm.
I did Noom, and I'm thinking I might join it because the head games we play are real, and it definitely helped with the head games. I appreciated, if anybody's ever done Noom. Again, Emily, it's a lot like this, but not quite. Like, this is a team. Like, I feel like you're creating a little squad here, and that's more not don't get that so much with Noom because it's also remote and distant. But every day there's lectures that you listen to, and they talk about these real issues. So I'm thinking I might join again. Again, I'm not selling Noom. I shouldn't, but it understands us. I know. It
Sales are
understands
hard.
us. I love it.
Yeah, I think habit change is a lifelong challenge. Certainly has been for me. I've been working a lot in the last year, changing some other kinds of habits that I have, and it's an interesting process. I think it creates anxiety because you like to do what you're used to doing, and those things are comforting and they feel right. And so changing what you're used to is just hard. And so without getting too therapy speaky about it, I've honestly gotten a lot of positive results from being kind to yourself, and when you make a mistake or you eat your Cheez-Its or whatever, it's not the end of the world. And, you just recognize maybe how you were feeling at that time and why that was the easiest thing for you to do. And then of course there's always just portion control. Like, a handful of Cheez-Its is not going to kill you. A box of Cheez-Its, not so good.
I would say for me, it's like the time that goes into the preparation of the healthy things. Like I'm just used to during a work day, like slapping together a PB&J, but now there's just so much more that, okay, I'm going to make the quinoa this morning so that it's ready. And like fitting that into a busy schedule is just challenging, but like anything, yeah, I guess just getting used to it.
In terms of anxiety, I don't know if anyone else has had this experience this week, but I've been a little short-tempered with my loved ones. I kind of like spinning around the kitchen thinking, what the hell am I going to eat? And just feeling like aggravated by having to think about it so much because, you're trying to do something other than what you frequently do. But again, that's just the process of being a little uncomfortable and getting okay with being uncomfortable and just being like, well, I'm trying something new. Change is hard, sorry, I took your head off about, what we're eating for dinner tonight. Enjoy.
Yeah, I've also been, which I've heard many times before that this can be a healthy habit, and I'm not great about it, but I've been trying to be really good about writing everything down. So I'm writing down my starting weight every day. I'm writing down like when I finish a water bottle, I'm checking it off. I'm writing down if I worked out. I'm writing down my foods just so that I can look back and maybe for other ideas, but also to try to just reinforce like, this is doable. You're doing it. You've got it kind of thing. That seems to be helping.
Yeah, log is awesome. I love a log.
It also helps with meal planning because I did that on Sunday. I wrote out a menu for the week and made sure I had all the groceries for it because I was getting the grumpy, are we going to be eating all your boring meals this week? And I said, yes, you are. And here's what it looks like. Plan ahead. So
I love that. I love that. I think I've gotten that that text from a number of you. Family's really tired of eating this, so I'm going to eat it. And they're getting pizza.
yeah.
Like from probably half the group. And honestly, like good for you. And for if your family can support you for the majority of the week, awesome. But also, like, I totally understand. They want something else because it's really hard to stay on a plan that's like lean protein and veggies and rice every day. And so ways to make it exciting. So that's why like these spices that we have. So open up your chats, you guys, if you didn't, and to kind of take a screenshot of them, but like post them on Facebook so people can start seeing what you're cooking that your families are liking and enjoying, because that'll help everyone else be creative with the meals, which would be awesome.
Right, sorry about my hand. Emily, I don't eat chicken anymore, but when I did, I used to like to marinate it in like a balsamic or vinaigrette. Is that still okay? I mean, that would be a way to make it
Totally.
more.
Yeah, totally. One of my favorite for grilling season, and it's pretty like you can go out and grill all winter, honestly, but Italian dressing.
Right.
So really like obviously just depends on how long you cook it for, but my trick now is I don't actually buy chicken breasts. I buy chicken tenders because I was finding that chicken breasts just get so dry and there's so much meat in there and it's just like nasty. So I buy chicken tenders or already sliced, or the oh my gosh, the what are they called? Not legs. Someone help me out. Thighs. And those are a lot tastier and a lot harder to dry out, I guess you could say.
And they're cheaper.
Yeah.
I only eat make baked chicken thighs. It's so much
There we
better.
go.
That's all my kids will eat.
Yeah.
And buying rotisserie chickens
Yeah.
and cutting those up on a salad has been really helpful.
So I guess I've always worried about buying thighs because I thought they were so much higher in fat and that wasn't ideal, but just go for it and call it the fat.
They have some with the fat cut off. And so like, especially the like free range, all organic, like in Hannaford. Yeah, you can get like, it says something about the fat on it and the fat's like already cut off, which is awesome. Yeah. But honestly, if you shop at like a local meat market, get the chicken thighs. They'll be amazing. I love local meat markets. There's something I wanted to add. I don't remember anything from anybody else.
Can I ask a question about timing? So like if we're talking about, let's say the 3 meals, is it really you need to sit down and eat at 3 distinct times, or is it, so for example, let's say I had a meal like today at lunch, I didn't have like a carb with it. Let's say if I had a piece of toast 2 hours later as my carb or something like that, is that okay to stretch it out? Like it doesn't, okay.
Yeah, totally. Just keep track if that's what you're doing. That works for me better too.
Yeah.
Rather than like a 4-hour gap between meals. And my blood sugar will dip way low. And then I'm like, oh my God, why do I feel so horrible today? So I like having something between for sure. This is also why I want you guys to think about 4 meals. 4 meals for me personally, like changed my life when I moved to 4 meals a day versus 3. So I would do like a breakfast at 8. I'd have like, like a salad and chicken with maybe no carb in it around 11. And then at like 2 or 3, like leftovers from the night before, whether that was cooked chicken, a vegetable and rice. And then I have my dinner at like, 6 or 7.
But you're saying 4 meals with a carb, still with carbs?
4 meals, if you're doing 4 meals, sorry, on this program, then
Okay.
use your, let's do it this way. Let's say breakfast. If you're a toast person, you can keep your toast, right? Or you can keep your, words today. What is it called? Oatmeal. There we go. You can keep your oatmeal, you can keep your toast, you can keep those easy carbs that are easy to prep. But then when you're moving on to your meals, make squash, make zucchini, eggplant, those higher carb veggies, and just treat them as higher volume on your plate. Give yourself more veggies. They're going to fill you up. They're fantastic.
Okay.
But when you eat those higher carb veggies, especially like an acorn squash or something like that, that would be, if you're having that, say, for 2 meals a day, that amount of carbs would basically equal 1 serving of like a rice or something. So I'm trying to give you volume at 4 meals and basically the same calorie count as 3 meals. Does that make sense? Okay. Love volume. If you guys are hungry, like start buying more veggies to roast in the oven and just keep a container in your fridge and add them to any meal if you are starving. There was something else I wanted to say about volume, but anybody else before I chime in again?
Yeah, I got a question about my fabulous meal out. You said the serving sizes were too big. It was a kale and Brussels sprout salad, and then I got salmon. And I was kind of thinking, like, hang on, I thought I could eat salad until, I fell off my chair. That's not the case, or was there something about that you didn't like?
I'm trying to remember, Beth. I kind of remember the picture of the salad, but it might have been the amount of, I honestly don't know what I was referring to, but it basically what I mean in terms of serving sizes, if you go out to eat and you're planning on getting an app, a dinner, and a dessert, then keep all the servings on the smaller side so you don't overeat. If that makes sense. Or I could have been referring to dressing. Like if you get salads pre-dressed, generally they're just loaded with fat from dressing if you're eating out, which can sometimes make the salad less healthy than like literally ordering a cheeseburger.
Right. Yeah. The salad had like a vinaigrette on it. It wasn't okay.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah. I think maybe it was
It was
just
fine.
that I finished everything. I ate all the fish and all the salad
Yeah.
and half dessert. So maybe that was what you were commenting on, is maybe, try to take something home. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I'd have to look back.
Okay.
Totally. Any other food things to bring up before I wrap up? A quick note on the snacking, the habits and things like that. Beth brought up, I think, a great point, and she said not to get too therapy session-y. However, it is really interesting to look back at maybe the coping mechanisms you either used as a child and brought with you into your adult life, or what your go-to habits are for when you get stressed, and take then another step back and start with the trigger point. And if the trigger point is, okay, I have too much work on my plate, my family's asking what's for dinner, and like you feel like you're in charge of all the things, and that's the trigger that sends you over the edge into snacking mode. If you know you're gonna have a really long week at work, this is just an example. Could we order a meal prep company for the family? You know what I mean? So in going through the precision nutrition habit change, which is a lot of just observing your mental state and where all these habits and habit change comes from, it's really taking a step back into the learned behaviors. And it's work. It is, can't get around it, but I just wanted to add that 2 cents in. And that seems, when I sit down and actually talk with my clients one-on-one about the trigger points of food, we get way further along with them down the road than just like, no, don't eat it. Eat a protein shake. What are you doing? You know what I mean? That's not gonna help anybody. So, all right, ladies, thank you so much. Hope you have a great night. One homework thing, text me 3 meals or 4. And if you're weight tomorrow morning, if you haven't yet. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.